She wants her father to stay away from the family until his death. Beyond me aware that her struggle against her father is ongoing orders. A large iced Americano to stay alert and energized for her bet with Byeon Moo-jin, aiming to keep him out of her and her mother's lives. Meanwhile, Baeon plans how to win back his wife, unaware of the rumors about him spreading in the apartment building. An elderly neighbor recalls seeing Baeon drinking with the former and accused him of impregnating and abandoning a neighbor. Realizing Ae-yeon was jealous, Baeon teased her. Annoyed Ae-yeon cracked an egg on his head. Moo-jin, recognizing his ex-wife's jealousy, refused to reveal the truth. Ji-soo, frustrated, tried to distract herself with housework, but her thoughts returned to the issue after settling down after cleaning her apartment. She swept the common area downstairs, where Baeon snatched the broom from her, pointing to a car that often blocked others by parking improperly. Causing Baeon to be late for work, she noted its owner was a muscular man who resolved issues by fighting. As this man raged downstairs, Baeon and his son appeared, the latter having been instructed to sticker the car. The man, underestimating Baeon was swiftly subdued upstairs. Ae-yeon and the neighbor from the third floor rushed down upon hearing the commotion. The neighbor had earlier approached Ae-yeon, guessing the photo was hers. Before she could explain that Moo-jin wasn't the father of her child, they were interrupted by the noise downstairs. The muscular man, intimidated, fled with his clothes, shocked by her formidable ex-husband Geum. Ae-yeon returned home with him to continue their conversation, during which the neighbor mentioned knowing Moo-jin in Korea. He was unsuccessful in business in Korea and believed the country was not suitable for him. So he moved to Thailand. Later, his female neighbor got pregnant and her boyfriend was irresponsible. She wanted to return to Korea but couldn't afford a plane ticket in order to raise money. She reluctantly auditioned for a strip-to performance. When Baeon learned about this, he rushed to stop her. The female neighbor lamented her encounter with a bad man, feeling she had no choice but to earn money. This way, Moo-jin sympathized with her plight and gave her all his savings, allowing her to return to Korea and live. Well, the female neighbor's situation reminded him of Ae-yeon, who also hadn't met the right person and had struggled raising her child. Alone, the female neighbor kept a photo with Moo-jin. For a reason, she was already pregnant when the photo was taken, and it was the only picture with her unborn child. When asked about Moo-jin's occupation abroad, the female neighbor was reluctant to speak. Geum was very curious, left with no choice. The neighbor showed a photo she took of Moo selling goods. At that time, he was hired by a shoe store that liked his attractive ankles, making him a shoe model. He was asked to walk a few steps in high heels in a busy market Geum. Ae-yeon pressed for what happened next, but the female neighbor also didn't know why Moo suddenly became wealthy. Both women were curious about how Moo-jin made so much money. The person in question, returned home and began living with his son. His son was very happy, enjoying the freedom of walking around in underwear with only men at home when his son needed to go out and borrowed Moo-jin's clothes. He discovered a suitcase. Moo-jin's expression changed, and he personally came to help his son pick clothes. Then closed the wardrobe door. His men were waiting for him downstairs. While waiting, he wanted to smoke, but forgot his lighter. The female neighbor came out noticing he was looking for a lighter and rummaged through her pockets. Unexpectedly, she took out a candy instead, having quit smoking years ago after the female neighbor left Byeon. Moo-jin came down his men, sitting beside him, feeling uneasy, fearing Ae-yeon might have said something. Byeon smiled meaningfully, realizing Ae-yeon was jealous. He saw hope and frequently appeared before Ae-yeon buying her favorite snacks, medicine, and blankets. While walking home, Moo-jin occasionally teased Geum, asking if she would remarry him. Suddenly, Gwan's foot hurt. She suffered from plantar fasciitis, which caused sudden pain. Moo-jin had her sit down and massaged her foot, advising her to buy good shoes. They were not remarried yet, so he felt it was not auspicious to give her shoes directly. Ae-yeon was very happy. Moo-jin hadn't seen her smile in a long time at night, sitting on the bed. Ae-yeon ate the snacks. Moo-jin bought, feeling complicated, to clear her mind. She started washing her daughter's quilt. Beyond Me took the opportunity to tell her mother that she had arranged a trip to Thailand for the weekend, feeling her mother liked it there and had planned the itinerary secretly. However, as competitors were launching a new product earlier, the supermarket couldn't fall behind and moved up the new product launch to this week. Byeon Mi was told to cancel her leave request for Friday. She did not want to cancel the trip and decided to launch the new product a day earlier on Thursday, after finishing the work she left with her mother for the trip to ensure a smooth journey by On Mi. Ray, tired, fell asleep in the car. Numb Tae-pyeong found her and, concerned about her driving, while fatigued, drove her home himself. Byeon M wondered why. Nam Tae-pyeong always found her at her most vulnerable moments, feeling embarrassed. Nam Pong was glad it was he who found her like this, not someone else he admired beyond Mi-rae for her seriousness towards work, noting she had always been this way. Not liking to delay things, since many issues must eventually be faced, this realization struck Nam Tae-pyeong. Some things cannot be avoided and must be confronted, eventually thinking this. Nam Tae-pyeong wore a black suit to his grandfather's memorial service. The president asked him to pay respects, but kneeling there, Nam Tae-pyeong put down his drink, refusing to continue the pretense with the president, and left the hall. It turns out the president and Nam Tae-pyeong are not father and son, but half-brothers. Meanwhile, Ae-yeon went out and met her son coming downstairs. She learned he wanted to live with Byeon and had decided to drop out of school. Shocked, she was even more surprised to find out Byeon M knew about this and had encouraged her brother to move in with their father. Feeling deceived, she went to play tennis. Byeon, hearing about this from his son, went to the tennis court to find her. They ended up at a more than her son's issues. Ji-soo wanted to know how her ex-husband had made so much money. Moo-jin assured her he was a law-abiding citizen, but refused to say more. The conversation turned back to their children. Ae-yeon felt guilty for making Mi-rae take on family responsibilities too early, contrasting with her son, who though an adult still acted childishly. This made Ae-yeon feel even more remorseful towards Byeon M, overwhelmed. She broke down crying, wishing her children could have responsible parents in their next lives and not suffer as they had after drinking gum. Ae-yeon left for home, but ended up crying. Halfway there, not wanting to face Byeon Mi-rae. That night, Byeon took her to a hotel where they unexpectedly met Byeon M supporting a drunken Nam Tae-pyeong. There had been a company dinner, and Nam Tae-pyeong, feeling down, drank alone and collapsed outside the restaurant, found by Byeon Mi-rae, who had to help him to the hotel. Seeing Ae-yeon and Byeon Moo-jin, Nam Tae-pyeong sobered up instantly. Ae-yeon, furious, confronted Nam Tae-pyeong, but Byeon Moo-jin intervened over Geum wanted to scold her daughter, but Byeon Moo-in stopped her after this incident. Byeon M suspected her parents had reconciled and angrily packed her bags to leave home. She texted Geum that she had to choose between her father and herself upon leaving Byeon. M ran into Nam Tae-pyeong, seeing her staring blankly with her suitcase. He guessed she was running away and kindly offered to help with the luggage during the struggle. Byeon M accidentally fell and got very angry. Nam Tae-pyeong invited her to his place, looking at her dirty clothes. She followed him home while she changed. Nam Tae-pyeong and two friends prepared a barbecue feast when Byeon M emerged in a long dress. Nam Tae-pyeong was stunned. He quickly grabbed a coat and draped it over her hungry Byeon. Mi-rae devoured the barbecue gum. Ae-yeon, having not heard from Byeon Mi, was very anxious. A neighbor from the third floor visited, advising her to decide whether to see Byeon Moo-jin as a boyfriend, husband, or stranger, and to consider her daughter's feelings. Ae-yeon sighed, deciding against reconciling with Byeon Moo-jin. For her daughter's sake, she realized she had caused Byeon M's resentment by constantly speaking ill of Byeon Moo-jin and using her daughter as an emotional dumping ground. Ae-yeon texted Byeon Mi-rae, wanting to meet and talk. Meanwhile, Nam Tae-pyeong noticed Byeon Mi-rae was upset and asked why she ran away. Byeon Mi-rae vented her anger about her mother betraying her. Unable to accept her mother reconciling with her despised father, Nam Tae-pyeong didn't try to dissuade her. Instead, he revealed that he and the company president weren't father and son, but brothers raised as such to avoid inheritance disputes. Byeon Mi-rae was moved by his story and comforted him gently. Tae-pyeong comforted her in return and confessed his feelings. Byeon Mi-rae, very shy, quickly grabbed her suitcase and hurriedly left his house on the other side. Beyond, Moo-jin's subordinate received a text about alimony from his ex-wife and attempted to take out a loan using Byeon Moo-jin's bank account. Just as he was about to proceed, a transfer notification from Byeon Moo-in arrived, frightening him, as he guessed Byeon Moo-jin knew about his embezzlement at a teacher's funeral. The subordinate mocked Byeon Moo-in in front of old classmates, calling him foolish and lucky. Byeon Moo-in, also attending the funeral, overheard and was insulted. The embarrassed subordinate tried to resign, but Byeon Moo-jin refused, asking him to continue as his tax accountant and forgave his past misdeeds. Byeon Moo-in left unaware that Geum Ae-yeon was also there. Outside, he met former baseball teammates. Their coach's funeral was also. That day, a teammate, now successful, thanked Byeon Moo-jin for retiring, due to an injury which allowed him to succeed. Byeon Moo-jin remained silent. Ending his career was a lifelong regret when teammates heard his name. They gathered around Byeon Moo-in, disliked being the center of attention, and looked uncomfortable. Seeing her ex-husband's discomfort, Ae-yeon approached as his wife. She warmly greeted the teammates, remembering one as Byeon Moo-jin's former follower. Embarrassing him, Ae-yeon continued, mentioning the tax accountant had just informed her they needed to pay tens of millions of WW in taxes. She suggested selling all their properties. Ae-yeon's boasting made the teammates' wives envious. She took Byeon Moo-in away, disliking how a teammate insulted him more than others, mocking him. Byeon Moo-jin cared why Geum Ae-yeon helped him, pretending everything was fine between them. Despite their separation, Geum Ae-yeon knew Byeon-jin was sensitive about quitting baseball and reminded him that he wasn't the only one forced to give up something significant. Geum Ae-yeon took a taxi home and met Byeon Mi-rae returning. She explained her guilt towards Byeon Mi-rae made her stay at a hotel instead of coming home. After reconciling, Byeon Mi-rae noticed 2 cups on the table and suspected her mother spent time alone with Byeon Moo-jin while she was away. Byeon Mi-rae acted nonchalant, stating she wouldn't interfere with their relationship anymore and wouldn't report her whereabouts to her mother, regardless of Ji-yeon's questions. Byeon M kept the reason for being at the hotel with Na-eun, a secret Gyeon, tried to mend their relationship, cooking meals and cleaning Byeon M's room when Byeon M ignored her. Ae-yeon gave up. Disturbed, Byeon Mi-rae decided to go out for fresh air, running into Byeon Moo-jin downstairs. Seeing his daughter safe, he wanted to talk. Byeon M compared him to unsellable long shelf life supermarket products, neither good to throw away nor wanted by anyone. A nightmare for her as a food salesperson. Byeon Moo-jin kept apologizing as Byeon M quickly walked away. Byeon M had arranged to meet Na-eun, who planned to teach her to ride a bicycle dressed in gear. Na-eun supported her like a caring father, helping her balance Byeon Moo-jin. Walking in a nearby park, watched Byeon Mi-rae learn to ride. Reminded of a past event, young Byeon M had asked her father to teach her to ride, but he rushed to meet teammates, promising to return. Turned soon. The 2 men ended up at a pub, watching a former teammate's game on TV after Byeon Mi-rae was born. She was often sick and needed hospital care to make money. Byeon Moo-in took on physical work during his free time, accidentally injuring his shoulder and leaving the baseball team. His departure gave his second-ranked teammate a chance to become famous. The teammate believed Byeon M ruined Byeon Moo-jin's career. Byeon Moo-jin drank, glancing at a children's bike wheel visible by the wall, unaware that Byeon Mi-rae hiding there heard everything, and later threw the bike on the ground. Years later, Byeon Moo-jin suddenly realized that his daughter had overheard a conversation while Byeon Moo-jin was lost in thought. Byeon Mi-rae noticed a boy riding a scooter and using his phone, heading straight towards Byeon Moo-jin. Seeing the danger, Byeon M pedaled hard towards her father, shouting for him to move. The boy heard her and swerved in time. But Byeon Mi-rae fell. Byeon Moo-jin rushed his daughter to the hospital, where in his anxiety he scolded her, wishing he had been the one hit instead of seeing her hurt. Soon, it was Byeon M's turn for treatment after her wounds were treated. Nam Tae-pyeong insisted she sit in a wheelchair, which he pushed himself. Mi-rae looked around for her father and sighed in disappointment upon hearing that Moo-jin had left after paying the medical bills. However, Moo-jin hadn't actually left. He took over pushing the wheelchair and told his daughter that as a baseball player, his family was his home base, and he couldn't leave. He apologized for not keeping his promise to teach her to ride a bike and never viewed B and Mi-rae as a stumbling block in his career. He regretted his uselessness. Not his children, who were his greatest treasures, moved by her father's words. Byeon Mi-rae was touched at the same time. Geum Ae-yeon was tidying her daughter's room and found a bet contract about reconciling with her that only the father and daughter knew about when Byeon brought his injured daughter home. Geum, Ae-yeon confronted them with the contract, realizing what was happening. Father and daughter quickly knelt with Byeon remaining silent. Geum Ae-yeon had no expectations for him, so she wasn't angry, but she was very disappointed in her daughter and ordered Byeon Mi-rae to pack her bags and leave. Geum Ae-yeon was heartbroken, feeling that as a parent she should be protecting her children. Not the other way around. She didn't want Mi-rae to always feel pressured to take on the whole family. Byeon angrily lashed out at her mother and immediately regretted her words. She quickly shifted the topic to distract her mother with her injured arm. The next day, Byeon observed her mother's mood and playfully asked her to accompany her to the hospital. Ae-yeon was cold, causing Byeon to regret her words even more and worry about how to reconcile by accident. She got off at the wrong bus stop and ran into Nam Tae-pyeong. They had dinner together, during which Nam Tae-pyeong attentively took care of her, helping her with water and utensils, and even offered to feed her, as the amused restaurant owner watched Byeon shyly look down as she ate. Encouraged by the restaurant owner's words, Nam Tae-pyeong took the opportunity to ask her out on a date. After some thought, Byeon replied that she was currently having a disagreement with her mother. She would consider dating only after reconciling with her. Byeon was preoccupied with making up with her mother, and Ae-yeon felt the same. Ae-yeon wasn't angry with her daughter, but was reflecting on herself, wondering if her daughter's harsh words were truly how she felt. She discussed this with Moo-jin, who also noticed their daughter seemed tired from viewing family responsibilities as her duty. Neglecting her own hardships, Geum Ae-yeon blamed herself for not protecting her children better. Moo-jin consoled his ex-wife, reflecting on his past belief that he had given up his passion for baseball for his family. He realized that Ae-yeon had also sacrificed her life, having children at 20 and dedicating herself to raising them. He urged her not to blame herself, stating that the fault lay with him, who should have been the family's main support. The next day, Ae-yeon sought advice from a neighbor whose children were grown, and married. The neighbor shared how relationships change as children grow and how parents should give them freedom at the right time. The neighbors knew Geum Ae-yeon's struggles and felt she deserved her own life. Geum Ae-yeon returned to playing baseball, recalling a promise Byeon made in high school to grow up fast, get a decent job after graduation, and provide a happy life for her mother. Byeon joined a large company to prevent her mother from having to work hard. Thinking of this made Jim Ae-yeon even more agitated, so she headed home, where she found Byeon Mi-rae had redecorated and was kneeling, apologizing for her earlier harsh words and begging for forgiveness. Byeon Mi-rae did not want to move out, saying she couldn't live without her mother nearby. Geum Ae-yeon forgave her, and they reconciled the next day. Geum Ae-yeon personally took her daughter to work. Helping her with her bag at the supermarket, Nam Tae-pyeong showed great concern for Byeon, who was about to have her cast removed. Nam Tae-pyeong felt a bit sad, as he had hoped to spend more time with her due to her injury. Suddenly, a customer with a shopping cart passed by, and Nam Tae-pyeong quickly pulled Byeon aside to protect her injured arm. Byeon was called to the president's office, fearing that he might warn her against hoping for a wealthy life by marrying Nam Tae-pyeong, and even imagined him offering her cash to leave Nam Tae-pyeong back to reality. She considered whether she should accept money if offered in the office. The president asked her to persuade Nam Tae-pyeong to work at the company, citing their close relationship. Byeon declined the president's request after work. Nam Tae-pyeong had dinner with the president today. Was Nam Tae-pyeong's birthday, and the president casually brought up Byeon on Mi-rae. Nam-tong became alert and set down his chopsticks. The president confessed that he hadn't done anything to Byeon-mi, but had asked her for a favor, which she coldly refused. Byeon-em had her reasons, stating that based on her understanding of Nam-pong, he wasn't someone easily persuaded by others. She believed Nam-pong should decide for himself whether to return to the company or continue as a security guard. Regardless of his choice, she would support him unconditionally. Hearing this from the president, Nam-pong smiled, unable to suppress his urge to go to where Mi-rae was. Mi-rae turned around holding a birthday cake, while alone together, Nam-pong confessed his feelings to Byeon-em publicly as the president's son. Tae-pyeong had to maintain a professional distance from Byeon-em, an employee. However, she couldn't ignore her feelings and genuinely liked Tae-pyeong, receiving the answer he wanted. Tae-pyeong kissed Byeon-em. Meanwhile, Ae-yeon went to the rooftop to hang blankets and found Moo-jin. Resting there, he often came to look after the plants and rest. Seeing him asleep, Ae-yeon sat beside her ex-husband, still finding him handsome before leaving. She shielded him from the bright sun with an umbrella back home. Geum prepared some dishes for her son to take and share with Moo-jin. Her son revealed that he had seen Moo-jin's secret travel bag containing my mysterious items. He led his mother to Moo-jin's house, and they retrieved the travel bag from the wardrobe. Inside the bag were baseball gloves with their children's names and an album filled with family memories expressing Moo-jin's love. Deeply moved, Geum finished looking through the album. Today, Moo-jin was invited to a baseball game, and Ae-yeon joined him. She asked to borrow money from her ex-husband. Mi-rae had been shouldering the family's responsibilities, and their mother-daughter relationship had become overly dependent, which Ae-yeon considered unhealthy. She wanted Byeon-em to live independently, seeking financial help from Moo-jin for this purpose. Moo-jin comforted her, suggesting there was plenty of time to figure things out and offering to help think it through. Touched Geum and invited Moo-jin to join her for the next chapter of her life, and he embraced her warmly at the same moment. Byeon-em also accepted Pong's confession. Byeon-em heads to work as usual, hand in hand with Tae-pyeong. Despite seeing each other daily, every encounter leaves. Ray thrilled eagerly. Anticipating each day after work, they enjoy their time together, walking hand in hand, ending their joyful day. Excited Mi returns home, tries to unlock her door with a code, but it shows an error. She calls her mother, Ae-yeon, who sends an address and asks Bon-em to go there, arriving at a new house. Ae-yeon announces that from today, this will be Byeon-em's home. Yeon has paid the first month's rent with future payments to be made by Byeon-mi, thinking her mother is still angry over a previous disagreement. Byeon-em is informed that Ae-yeon wants her to live free from the burdens of being the family's head and to start a new life. This decision is also a challenge for Ai, who wants to live alone for a while, striving to live for herself. After explaining, and leaves and sobs in a deserted alley. Moo-jin approaches his ex-wife, lifts her up. Believing that the clever Byeon-em can bravely manage her life, holding back tears. Ju-myeon comforts herself, realizing that only by pushing Byeon-em away could her daughter decide to move out. Moo-jin comforts Jum-aon, holding her close and commending her efforts. The company president visits Nam-pong's house, where Tae-pyeong's security contract is soon expiring. The president, noting Nam-pong's lack of progress since quitting taekwondo, feels he is lost about his future. The president pressures him, aiming to help him out of his rut by offering a 3-month internship. If Tae-pyeong dislikes it, the president promises not to interfere further, but threatens to make Byeon-em his direct subordinate. If he refuses the next day, Byeon-em wakes up at home, receives a message from Nam-tong, and heads to his taekwondo gym to vent her frustrations. Breaking all the wooden boards, Nam-tae forces her to rest and listen to her troubles. He feels her moving out is not a problem, and that it's for her good. Angry Byeon-em crumples a plastic bottle, deciding to live well. As revenge, to prove to her mother she can manage alone. Nam-tae-pyeong then takes her shopping for daily necessities, unfamiliar with household tasks. Due to her busy work life, Nam-tong personally selects everything after shopping. He drops her off and gives her men's shoes. He polished earlier, advising her to place them in the hallway, to suggest a male presence for safety. He also takes out another pair of slippers. He prepared for himself back home. Byeon follows his instructions to arrange the shoes. While tidying up, she accidentally drops a note on the floor. Checking her phone, she feels disappointed as her mother hasn't contacted her. Moo-rae sits alone in the living room. Moo-jin, anticipating her loneliness, brings greens to make lunch for Geum. Ae-yeon, two people enjoyed a meal of beep together, uplifted by Moo. Jin's company, Geum finally felt happy as they shared the meal joyfully. After eating, Moo asked Geum about her plans. She wished to do nothing, tired of rushing to do laundry, cook or clean. She wanted to lie on the floor and clear her mind for Moo. His greatest desire was to stay by Ae-yeon's side, do everything for her, travel together, and be a good father to their children. Ae-yeon, looking at her ex-husband next to her, felt mixed emotions. Mi-rae sneaked home and saw her mother throwing out the garbage. Moo-jin volunteered to help with sorting. He held Ae-yeon's dog, which noticed M's stern look from afar and made a pleading gesture, hoping for forgiveness for its perceived betrayal. The dog barked as M walked away, angry, drawing Moo-jin's attention to his daughter's retreating figure. Moo-jin followed her to a beer hall, where M sought confirmation that he could make their mother happy. Moo expressed that Ae-yeon didn't need anyone else to make her happy. She needed to find her own happiness. He could only offer his support, reassuring Mi-rae that the family wouldn't fall apart because she moved out. Confused and frustrated, M drank her beer, got up and left. Meanwhile, Ae-yeon was still worried about her daughter. She approached Tae-pyeong to ask for his help in looking after her. He promised not to let Ae-yeon worry and took Mi-rae to an ice skating rink to cheer her up. They had a great time and temporarily forgot their troubles. Hungry, they went to a restaurant, but awkwardly ended up joining a group of colleagues at the dinner table. The manager learned Tae-pyeong was a security guard at the company and mocked his lack of ambition. Byeon, Ray, upset, quickly interrupted him to spare her boyfriend embarrassment. After dinner, Byeon walked back to the company and was stopped by a mysterious woman who sarcastically commented on having a wealthy father before walking away. After Byeon left home, Geum, feeling bored, approached her boss to ask for more work to pass the time. A woman who overheard the conversation offered Geum and a job as a TV shopping model, thinking she would be photogenic. Intrigued by the high pay, Geum was still reminiscing about the woman's words when Byeon appeared, coldly inquiring about her mother's work. Ae-yeon tried to explain the reason for asking her to move out, but Mi-rae turned and left, only brightening when she saw Tae-pyeong, who gifted her a bicycle for easier commuting. Returning home to a messy room, Mi felt desperate without her mother's help. She cleaned her room herself, finally realizing how hard her mother had worked to keep the home perfect, while she had taken her mother's care for granted. After cleaning up Byeon ate a cold meal and missed her mother. She happened upon a letter from Ae-yeon tucked in a corner of the wall. Ae-yeon, worried about her daughter managing on her own, and detailed all the precautions for living alone in the letter, comforting her daughter that she would always be her strong support. She wrote that if Byeon ever felt tired or wanted to cry, she could always come home overwhelmed. Byeon burst into tears and hurried home, where she found Ae-yeon secretly crying. In her room, the mother and daughter resolved their misunderstandings and grievances. Mi-rae hugged her mother, realizing after living alone that the hardest part all these years was not her own challenges, but Young-yoon managing both her and her brother. B&M promised to work harder to fulfill her own dreams, carrying her mother's expectations. Meanwhile, Moo-jin received a sudden call. The caller claimed that a woman knew what Moo had done and advised him to handle the situation himself to avoid implicating others the next day. M returned to work in a good mood, only to learn unexpectedly that the company's president planned to hand his son over to her supervision, and this employee was none other than Tae-pyeong. Tae-pyeong, surprised by the president's decision, tried to explain to M, who was not upset, but instead happily shook hands with Tae-pyeong, hoping they could progress together as Tae-pyeong entered the workplace. Ae-yeon also embraced a new job, Byeon Moo-jin, learning that Ae-yeon was to be a TV shopping model, extravagantly rented a luxury nanny van, and held an umbrella for her, declaring himself Ae-yeon's manager as he escorted her to the shooting location, while Gaum-an was getting makeup done backstage. Byeon Mi-rae, who worked at the same company, came looking for the person in charge of TV shopping and was surprised to see her mother. Byeon Moo-jin then burst in claiming to be Ae-yeon's manager. Byeon learned then that her mother was working as a part-time model. Watching Ae-yeon on stage, who was very nervous, Byeon Moo-jin stepped forward to comfort her warmly, boldly stating he would buy all the products if they didn't sell gum. Ae-yeon relaxed, and soon the live TV shopping began. Under the host's guidance, Ae-yeon demonstrated the effects of an air cushion compact, looking at her younger appearance in the mirror. Ae-yeon couldn't help but share her thoughts that middle-aged people prefer to do makeup in the dark, fearing to see themselves age, only realizing when looking in the mirror that they are still beautiful. Her words resonated with the audience, and the product quickly sold out. Watching her mother on stage, Byeon was very happy, realizing how exceptional Ae-yeon was, even when not being a mother. Even Byeon Moo-jin became jealous, fearing many men would pursue Ae-yeon after seeing the TV advertisement that evening. Byeon's team celebrated Nam-pong's joining with a dinner at a pub. The team leader humbly apologized to Tae-pyeong and even awkwardly sang a song. After the dinner ended, a tired Tae-pyeong collapsed into Byeon's arms, and they walked home hand in, and feeling happy upon reaching the door, they saw Byeon Moo-jin, who had come to check if the apartment his daughter lived in was safe after saying goodbye to Nam-pyeong. Mi-rae brought her father into the apartment.